It's 6:42 on the 13th of October 2025. In the waters off Palawan, the U.S. Coast Guard cutter Stratton suddenly detects 3 fast-moving radar contacts closing in from the northwest. Alarms echo through steel corridors. Crew members sprint to their stations, faces lit red by warning lights. Outside, the gray sea churns as fog thins, revealing massive white hulls marked China Coast Guard. The Haijing 5,304, 5,203, and 3,901 close the distance, forming a tight triangle around the American ship. Engines roar, horns blare, radios crackle in overlapping Mandarin and English. For 50 tense minutes, the gap shrinks to less than 2 nautical miles. One wrong move could turn this gray zone face-off into something far darker. The captain orders engines to stand by and keeps course steady, lawful, calm, recorded on the open bridge-to-bridge channel. Crew rig fenders, cameras roll, boats stand by but stay in the hooks. No one wants a scrape that sparks a spiral. Every horn blast is a shove you feel in your ribs. The sea is open, but the box is closing. The South China Sea isn't just another patch of water. It's one of the busiest lifelines on the planet. Tankers, cargo ships, and fishing fleets threading through narrow lanes between reefs and claims. To the crew of Stratton, every mile patrolled here links straight back to American stores, gas pumps, and the daily rhythm of trade. Their mission is simple on paper: show presence, uphold law, avoid war. But against China's gray zone tactics, pressure without open fire, simple turns fragile fast. The Haijing ships aren't random patrols. Each is bigger, heavier, built to intimidate. They crowd in, cameras rolling, loudspeakers blaring accusations of illegal intrusion. The Coast Guard crew keeps calm, reading the script of restraint line by line. No weapons uncovered, no sudden turns. The captain knows one wrong word could echo through Washington, Manila, and Beijing before sunset. On Channel 16, phrasing matters as much as distance. Tone can move ships as surely as rudders. For the Philippines, this moment touches the Mutual Defense Treaty. How close does attack have to be before allies respond? For Beijing, it's about dominance without crossing the line. For Washington, it's about proving presence still means protection, even when the threat is a nudge, not a shot. Insurers watch premiums, traders watch routes, and coastal towns on Palawan watch the horizon, hoping tonight ends quiet. Gray turns gritty at deck level. AIS pings, hull numbers loom, and every engine rev feels like a shove. The legal frame is clear, the human frame is not. Sailors breathe slow, log every call, and hold their lane because backing down once can invite the next squeeze. If you were on that deck, would you hold your line or yield to avoid a spark? Tap UN if you'd hold, 9 if you'd pull back, 7-6, local time. The triangle tightens. Stratton's radar paints 3 solid returns each. Haijing ship now inside 2 nautical miles. The air hums with radio bursts, warnings, and measured replies. On deck, binoculars track white hulls, bow numbers looming larger by the minute. The Chinese ships begin a slow, circling maneuver, engines alternating ahead and astern, trying to shear Stratton off her lane. It's the maritime version of a shove, silent but unmistakable. The bridge team locks in calm. Maintain heading 2 to 2 knots, no deviation. The helmsman's knuckles whiten on the wheel. Every ripple matters. Even a mistaken turn can be spun into provocation. A petty officer films from the bridge wing, timestamp overlay blinking. Documentation is defense here, proof that law, not muscle, rules the sea. 7-11, Haijing 5,304 slides to 1.6 nanometers off port. Sirens wailing. Faces are visible now, cameras staring back like unblinking eyes. Radio, U.S. vessel, you are violating Chinese jurisdiction. Stratton answers steady and brief. Operating in accordance with international law. The phrasing is rehearsed because words here travel farther than wakes. In CIC, scopes shift between radar and AIS overlays. The 5,203 cuts closer to starboard, nibbling at the track. A small drone launches quiet eyes aloft to record geometry and range. Down in main control, engineers feel the vibration through the hull. Rhythm changes tell them more than any screen. 7:18. Haijing 3000. 901 edges ahead, throwing a foaming crosswake. Stratton answers with a 2-degree correction. Tiny, deliberate, logged keeping right of way, while denying the herd. The whistle sings 2 short blasts, formal yet tense. No weapons uncovered, no rams, just proximity is pressure. Fenders rigged, deckhands on standby, eyes fixed on the white hulls pressing in. Every minute without contact is a win, no camera can dramatize. The sky brightens over Palawan. The captain keeps voice level. Steady as she goes. Out here, presence is posture, and posture shapes tomorrow's map. 7:24 local time. The ocean feels smaller. Stratton holds steady at 22 knots, but the Haijing formation tightens again. 5,304 shadows port. 5,203 mirrors starboard, 3,901 holds ahead, each within 2 nautical miles. The American crew watches the range shrink, tension humming louder than the engines. On the bridge, the captain links the drone feed to the tactical display. From above, 3 white hulls box and 1 gray. They're closing the gate, someone mutters. Then we keep the door open, the captain replies. The orders stay simple. Hold course, avoid collision, don't yield. Every motion must show control without inviting escalation. 7:30. Loudspeakers thunder across the sea, accusing, relentless. Stratton replies on Channel 16, calm and firm. U.S. Coast Guard operating lawfully in international waters. The words are steady, the tone deliberate. Cameras on both sides capture every second. Tomorrow's headlines are being written live. Below deck, vibration deepens as 3,901 crosses closer, its prop wash shaking the hull. Tools rattle. In CIC, radar returns pulse closer, green lines tightening into a single corridor. A petty officer calls out bearings. Another logs times. Restraint here means precision every second documented, every distance controlled. 7:37. A new contact flickers onto radar. A Philippine patrol boat approaching from the south. Manila's voice on the radio is calm, supportive observation. The Haijing ships hesitate, then reform. Beijing knows escalation risks, headlines. Washington knows retreat invites precedent. Both hover on the knife edge of miscalculation. The captain sketches a 1-ship length safety lane and keeps his voice steady. Maintain heading, log everything. Bridge calls stay clipped. Each phrase builds a paper wall stronger than steel. No weapons raised. Yet posture itself becomes a weapon the angle of a bow, the silence after a challenge. 7:42. A gust ripples the surface, wakes tangle. Stratton adjusts 2 degrees, then steadies calm, deliberate, in control. From above, it's law versus claim, restraint against pressure. The sun breaks the horizon, turning all hulls gold. For a breathless moment, the sea stands still. If you were in command right now, would you stand firm or yield to ease the storm? Comment 1 to hold the line, 9 to step back, and subscribe if you want to see what happens next. 7:48 local time. Just as the formation steadies, the calm fractures. A new radar contact appears small, fast, low to the water. Not another Haijing cutter, but something else. An unmarked craft racing in from the east at 30 knots. Its radar signature flickers, then vanishes. Surface drone? Someone asks. The captain nods. Could be. Keep cameras locked. From the drone's eye view, the vessel weaves between swells, barely visible under glare. It's not broadcasting AIS, not answering hails. The Haijing ships hold course, pretending not to notice, but the timing is too precise to be random, a test or a distraction. Range 1.5 nautical miles, calls CIC. Stratton's sensors shift to high-resolution mode. A boarding team scrambles topside, scanning for visual contact. No flag, no markings, just a black hull slicing foam. The sea turns deceptive again, calm surface, tension beneath. 7:51. The craft angles toward Stratton's port quarter, then steadies parallel to her wake. Every eye is on it. If it closes another half-mile, the captain must decide, intercept or hold. "We record first," he says. "Act if we must." It's the essence of gray zone warfare: patience against provocation, proof against pressure. Behind, Haijing 5000, 304 breaks formation, circling wide, using the distraction to move closer to Stratton's bow. The bridge crew feels the trap forming, one fast, one heavy. "They're playing both speeds at once," the Tenno mutters. The captain doesn't blink. "Then we match both." He signals engine control for steady power. Sensors tracking both targets. 2 threats, 1 calm response. Out here, judgment is the sharpest weapon of all. 7:55 local time. The ocean explodes with motion. The unidentified craft veers sharply toward Stratton, closing fast across her port bow. The bridge alarms scream proximity warnings. Red lights flash through the corridors. "Contact accelerating 28 knots and closing," shouts CIC. "Engines ahead full," the captain orders. The cutter surges forward, spray bursting off the bow. Haijing 5304 swings across her path, blocking the exit line. The 5203 mirrors on the opposite side. 3 converging threats. No gunfire, but the aggression feels physical, like walls pressing in. Hold bearing 23 degrees. The helmsman adjusts by inches. Crew on deck brace behind railings. Cameras rolling. The black craft slices closer, wake frothing. The XO calls distance. Half a mile. 4/10. It's too close for comfort. Too gray for certainty. 7:57. Stratton's horn blasts a single commanding note that rips through the morning air. The unmarked vessel flinches, veering off just short of collision. Its wake rolls beneath the hull, slamming hard but harmless. The entire deck shudders, men grabbing for balance. The Haijing ships react instantly, each turning outward, loudspeakers roaring in protest. "U.S. vessel, you are unsafe. You cause danger." The irony cuts sharp, but Stratton stays disciplined. Cameras catch everything: the approach, the maneuver, the near miss. 7:59. The radio crackles with a new voice. Philippine Navy patrol now on scene. "U.S. vessel, this is BRP Andres Bonifacio. We are observing." Their presence shifts the balance. The Haijing shifts back down slightly, speed reduced, tone softening. The tension doesn't vanish, it pauses, like a drawn breath. The captain scans the horizon. "Maintain heading. Record all." The crew exhales in unison, adrenaline fading into silence. The unidentified craft disappears east, leaving turbulence and questions behind. 2 minutes later, the sea returns to calm. On deck, sailors stand still, watching sunlight spill across the waves. No shots fired, no hulls touched. Yet every person on board knows how close it came. Out here, peace isn't the absence of war, it's the victory of restraint. If you were standing on that bridge, would you hold your line or push back harder next time? Tap 1 to stand firm. 9 if you'd strike first. 8:10 local time. The South China Sea looks calm again. But calm doesn't mean peace. Stratton's decks are wet, steel still trembling from near collision. The crew moves quietly, checking lines, logging times, replaying the drone footage frame by frame. Every movement is procedural, but every glance says the same thing: that was too close. The unidentified vessel never reappears. Intelligence channels already hum. Was it Chinese, civilian, or something deniable in between? In the gray zone, answers matter less than perception. What the world saw on camera will decide whose version becomes truth. By noon, Washington and Manila issue measured statements. Routine patrol, professional conduct. Beijing responds with its own. Provocation repelled. The language is familiar, the rhythm rehearsed. Yet beneath it, both sides adjust their calculus. The U.S. held position. China tested limits. The Philippines watched, recording every frame. On board Stratton, the tension fades into fatigue. Coffee brews, gear is stowed, and someone cracks a half smile. If that's peace, I'll take chaos. Laughter follows, thin but real. The captain stands alone on the bridge wing, watching sunlight scatter across endless water. He knows the next encounter won't be identical, only sharper, closer, faster. For the Coast Guard, today proved presence works but barely. For Beijing, the test succeeded too. It mapped reaction times, tone, distance. Both sides learned without firing a shot. That's the new battlefield, one where restraint is strategy and exposure is power. As Stratton turns toward Palawan, the radio chatter fades into white noise. The sea stretches wide, deceptively peaceful. Yet somewhere beyond the horizon, new orders are already being written. Out here, the line between deterrence and provocation grows thinner with every wave. Next time, one wrong maneuver could rewrite the region's balance overnight. If you were watching this unfold, whose strategy do you believe will hold longer? Calm endurance or calculated pressure? Comment 1 for endurance, 9 for pressure, and subscribe if you want to see which side bends first. It's 8 on the 25th of September 2025. In the South China Sea, near Woody Island, the USS Barry detected multiple fast-moving contacts. Alarms scream. Red lights flood the ship as sailors sprint to battle stations. Outside, the sea is calm until streaks of fire slice the horizon. 12 YJ-12 anti-ship missiles race in, skimming the waves to hide from radar. On the bridge, voices clash. Tracks confirmed closing fast. The captain's orders cut through. Hard turn to port. Launch interceptors. Deploy decoys. In Combat Information Center, screens overflow with arrows and timers. Vampires inbound. A watchstander calls the Navy's word for incoming missiles. Guns spin up, cells open, generators surge. Nearby, a U.S. oiler rides heavy and slow. Barry shifts to shield it, knifing through the swell to face the threat. Flight time is counted in seconds. The horizon flashes again. The first wave crosses the last mile. This is no drill. The next moments decide who survives. In the South China Sea, trade lanes run like arteries. Each day, tankers and container ships move fuel, food, and electronics that keep homes lit and stores stocked. The USS Barry is here to guard one of those lines. Alongside it sails a U.S. oiler, slow, heavy, essential, unprotected. It's a floating jackpot for anyone wanting to send a message. For Washington, open water means credibility and calm markets. If America falters, insurers raise rates, captains reroute, and prices climb at home. Allies watch every move. Some hedge the moment sea lanes look uncertain. For Beijing, pushing U.S. ships back from Woody Island is about control. Runways, radars, and missile sites there are meant to turn the island into a lock on the map, a place where Chinese forces set the rules and others comply. The morning breaks when a Chinese destroyer fires a dozen YJ-12 at the American oiler. The message is plain: your shield won't hold. Barry's mission flips from presence to protection in one breath. If the destroyer's strike lands, a tanker burns, crews die, and the busiest route in Asia looks easy to close. If Barry blocks it, the signal reverses. U.S. ships can still take a punch and keep the sea open. The oiler matters because it feeds the fleet. Lose it and sorties drop, patrols shrink, and commanders start saying no to risks. That is how a single hit becomes a strategic bruise that lingers. Both captains stare at the same horizon and see different futures. One sees open seas and steady trade. The other sees a tightening ring of control. The gap between those visions is where missiles fly and reputations break. Comment below. Press 1 if the US must hold the line, or press 9 if China's challenge will break through. 8, 10. The crew braces as alarms pulse. On radar, 12 inbound tracks grow closer, closing distance at nearly Mach 3. The Combat Information Center runs hot, every second shaped by voices calling bearings and ranges. The captain wastes no time. Launch interceptors. Vertical launch cells slam open. The first salvo of SM-2 missiles roars skyward, leaving smoke trails across the blue. They climb, curve, and dive, hunting the incoming YJ-12. Seconds matter. The first American missiles meet the wave midair. Explosions crack like thunder miles away. 2, then 3 enemy tracks vanish, but 9 remain, still slicing toward the oiler. The captain orders the ship's electronic warfare team into action. EA-18G Growlers overhead sweep the sky with jamming signals, scrambling missile seekers. Decoys fire from Barry's launchers, bright flares and chaff clouds, buying precious seconds. 8-12. The next layer activates. Barry fires another salvo, this time Standard Missile 6 interceptors longer reach, faster kill. 4 streak into the sky. One finds its target, detonating a YJ-12 mid-arc. Another clips one near the wave tops. Still, several push through the defenses, hugging the sea to stay hidden until the last mile. The Oilers crew watches helplessly from the deck. They know their ship is no warship, slow, soft-skinned, carrying millions of gallons of jet fuel. If one missile gets through, the ship could vanish in fire. Barry maneuvers hard, its hull shuddering as it turns to cut angles for its defense systems. Close-in weapons ready, the captain calls. Phalanx CIWS guns' last resort defenses begin spinning, barrels humming at 4,500 rounds per minute. The horizon flashes again. 3 missiles left. Their engines glow orange, skimming the waves at blistering speed. Barry's crew has no room for error now. The sky is streaked with contrails, smoke, and scattered fireballs. The sea below is littered with debris. Radios crackle as nearby U.S. aircraft report hits. Their jamming runs disrupting several seekers just in time. But the engagement is not over. Even as explosions echo across the horizon, the remaining warheads are seconds away. The Americans have slowed the storm, but they haven't stopped it yet. 8-14. The last defenses grind into action. 3 YJ-12 remain, streaking low, their warheads locked on the American ships. Barry's guns thunder, the ship rolling slightly as gunners adjust angles for a clear shot. One missile breaks apart under a storm of 20mm rounds, fragments splashing harmlessly into the sea. The crew cheers for half a second, then braces again. 2 more are still closing. Electronic warfare operators push systems to the limit, flooding the air with noise, trying to blind the seekers. The ship turns 5 more degrees, reducing its profile, buying fractions of a second. The Oiler continues straight, too heavy to dodge, relying completely on Barry's shield. On its deck, sailors crouch and pray, watching tracers light the horizon. 8-15. The second missile dives. CIWS barrels blaze, spitting fire. Shells cut through the air, sparks flash. Then a fireball erupts as another YJ-12 is torn apart. The blast rattles the Oiler's hull. Still, one missile survives, skimming barely above the waves, seconds from impact. Barry's systems lock on. The ship shakes as it turns, engines straining. Decoys fire again, drifting into the path, but the missile ignores them. The captain shouts, "All guns engage!" The last CIWS opens up, white-hot tracers cutting across the water. The missile swerves, confused, and the crew's hearts freeze. Damage control teams crouch by hatchways with hoses and foam, ready to fight, fire, or seal a breach. Medics stage stretchers in the passageway. In the Oilers' engine room, the chief trims pumps to cut pressure one hedge against a fuel-fed inferno. Overhead, Growlers hold a final jamming run in reserve. A calm voice checks in on the net and steadies the bridge. The destroyer's deck reeks of cordite. Brass casings clatter at the crew's boots. Everyone holds their breath. For 30 seconds, time bends. The destroyer's men and women are stretched to the limit, every eye locked on a single burning dot racing across the surface. This is the moment that defines the fight. Either America proves its shield holds, or China proves it can break through. Comment below, press 1 if you believe Barry's crew will stop the last missile, or press 9 if China's strike will hit home. The fate of 2 ships, and the story of this battle, hangs on seconds. 8-18. The horizon falls silent for a moment. The last YJ-12 explodes in a spray of fire and seawater. Sailors on Barry exhale, some gripping rails with shaking hands. But silence doesn't last. New radar tracks bloom low, fast, and numerous. This time, it's not missiles, it's fighters. J-11 and J-16 roar off Woody Island, carrying bombs and anti-radar missiles. Their path curves low to stay hidden. Barry's operators call them out. Bogies inbound, bearing 120, range 60 miles. The destroyer has seconds to react. the oiler cannot run. The twist is clear. These jets are not just striking ships, they're hunting radars. Without sensors, Barry is blind. The crew shifts frequencies, switches modes, trying to keep systems alive. Growlers dive in, jamming enemy signals, but the fighters press forward, dropping decoys. The sky fills with false echoes and confusion. The captain faces a dilemma. Fire off missiles now, or save them for another hidden wave of YJ-12. One wrong choice means disaster. Barry fires SM-6 upward, trails carving arcs across the sky. Explosions mark 2 kills. Yet more aircraft advance, releasing glide bombs. Guns rattle, shockwaves ripple across the deck. The fight has changed. Missiles were fast, but fighters adapt mid-run. Every sailor knows, if one anti-radar missile lands, Barry's defenses collapse, and the oiler becomes a burning wreck. This is no longer just defense, it is survival in real time. 2 superpowers trade blows over one patch of sea. Each strike more dangerous, each counter more desperate. Comment below, press 1 if Barry will adapt fast enough, or 9 if China's air assault will break through. 8:22, the sky erupts in chaos. J-16 drop payloads, streaks plunging toward the American ships. Barry's radars switch frequencies to stay alive. Alarms howl across the destroyer. The Combat Information Center calls multiple inbound 20 seconds. The first glide bomb slams into the sea, sending a wall of spray over the oiler. The second is cut mid-air by CIWS fire. More bombs arc down. The ship rocks under shockwaves. On deck, sailors brace against rails, soaked in salt and smoke. 8:23. Barry launches its last line of defense. ESSM missiles streak from vertical cells, curving to meet the attackers. Explosions rip the sky. One fighter disintegrates, another veers, jettisoning its bombs before fleeing. Still, 2 press in, releasing anti-radar missiles. The bridge goes silent. If those hit, Barry is blind and the oiler is lost. Phalanx guns scream, tracers cutting the night. One missile explodes short, raining fragments. The second keeps coming. Sailors hold their breath. At the last second, a growler dives, jamming point blank. The missile wavers, then slams into the sea yards off Barry's bow. The blast shakes the ship, throwing sailors to the deck. But Barry survives. The fighters break off, chased by U.S. missiles. Smoke drifts across the waves, fireballs fading on the horizon. Barry's crew stands, exhausted but alive. The oiler still floats, scarred but untouched. For now, the line holds. Reports trickle in. Scorched antennas, blistered paint, 2 gunners bruised, damage control teams, foam hot metal, vent smoke, and chase sparks from cable trunks. The Spy 1 array flickers, then steadies, still tracking. On the oiler, engineers seal valves and check fuel lines. Medics tape sprains and pass water to shaking hands. Both ships return to course, slower, tighter, unbroken. Lookouts sweep the dark water. Sonar reports clean. The captain sets down a trembling coffee. "Reset stations," he orders. "Rearm what we can." A dull glow from Woody Island reminds them the next wave may already be forming. 2 powers have bared their teeth, and neither looks ready to back down. Comment below, press 1 if America's shield will hold, or press 9 if China's next strike will break through, and subscribe to follow the next clash. 8:40. The smoke begins to clear. The sea is littered with fragments of metal and streaks of oil. Barry and the oiler still move slower, battered but afloat. For the crew, survival feels like victory. Yet the cost is plain. The destroyer's decks are scorched, ammunition bins half spent, and sailors slumped in exhaustion. The oiler carries scars down its flanks, proof that one more missile might have tipped the balance. News travels fast. In Washington, officials see proof that American defenses still work, but also a warning. Each Chinese missile or jet costs a fraction of the American weapons used to stop it. Economists calculate the math, strategists note the strain, and allies measure how long the shield can truly hold. In Beijing, the narrative is different. Propaganda outlets hail the sortie as proof that U.S. warships are vulnerable. They show footage of YJ-12 launches and fighters lifting from Woody Island, claiming that the battle demonstrates China can contest the seas at will. The truth lies between the Americans held, but only barely. For sailors on Barry, the meaning is sharper. They know the next wave will be bigger, faster, and harder to stop. They've seen how thin the line really is, and how close the ocean came to swallowing them whole. Yet they also know they stood their ground and the world was watching. Strategically, the clash marks more than a skirmish. It signals an age where cheap salvos test expensive defenses, and even survival counts as a win. The US still holds the line today, but the pressure only grows. The horizon remains unsettled. More Chinese units mass near Woody Island, and US reinforcements are en route. Neither side looks ready to yield. This battle may be remembered not for who struck hardest, but for showing how close the balance of power has become. Two superpowers tested each other, and the sea is still open for now. Comment below, press 1 if you believe America's resolve will keep the seas free, or press 9 if you think China's challenge will ultimately break through. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter of this conflict.